What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I want to talk to you guys about Usyk. Alexandra Usyk, has defeated Tony Bellew, as we all know, in dynamic fashion. And he was criticized by some heavyweights, but nonetheless, his plans are to go to the heavyweight division and do big things up there, and a lot of these things that come about with a fighter entering the game, you can ask someone like Terrence Crawford can identify that you're going to have problems with certain guys. You know what I mean? Oleg is a guy that is very talented. He's a cruiserweight unified champion, undisputed, okay, champion. And, it's where when you go to another weight class, you're like the new kid on the block. I get it, and there are fights to be made, and of course there's levels to this. So, not all the time you're going to go in and fight for a championship bout. I think you have entitlement to, depending on your clout. Like, Terrence Crawford came to 147 from 140 because he was the undisputed champion at 140, and he was able to come in to fight Jeff Horn for the WBO, and he stopped Jeff Horn in round 9. Well, Oleg, I think, can do that, but Oleg's a little smarter than that. He knows that his body has to properly acclimate to the heavyweight division, and there are steps getting there. And shout out to Hawker Mustang, a friend of the channel. He did say, I think Usyk should fight Luis King Kong Ortiz. That is a very good fight that could happen, and I think Eddie Hearn would jump on that in a heartbeat, simply because, Luis Ortiz needs a guy to fight in his 3-fight contract deal, with Matchroom, because he's re-signed with Matchroom, and I hope he's getting compensated well, because this is prize fighting at the end of the day. Nonetheless, he needs someone to fight, and if Hearn won't allow or is reluctant, let's say that, to put him in there with Dillian White or Anthony Joshua, Usyk would be a good fight and a good challenge for Usyk, because you got a guy, people say he's older or whatever, but that, he's a southpaw also. He has a great amateur pedigree. He has 347 fights and 19 losses. Usyk also has an incredible amateur career. Again, these guys could go in and fight, then he would know what it's like to be in with a heavyweight, and more or less an experienced heavyweight. Because, see, a lot of people look at Ortiz and they overlook Ortiz, and people ask me what's your infatuation with Ortiz? It's simple. He's avoided for a reason, guys. This guy is avoided for a reason. Even people are so adamant on calling him old, but he's still avoided, And I think Eddie Hearn would want that fight to happen, because that's just another obstacle in the way of his big fighters. You know what I mean? Eddie Hearn has big fighters. He has Anthony Joshua. He has Dillian White. Both of those guys can sell out arenas, okay? So it's in his best interest to keep those guys, at a certain stand front, because if Usyk is one of those dudes that is dangerous. You know what I mean? Froch and Bellew has warned the heavyweight division, like, hey, Usyk is coming, and this guy is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? The same things have been said about Ortiz. You know what I mean? He's a dangerous fighter. The only stigma he has is, of course, his the PEDs and the banned substances that has been found that he's been popped with. That is his stigma. If it wasn't for that, he would have a whole different reputation. You know what I mean? But he'd probably still be avoided. However, so does Povektin, and Povektin had the opportunity to fight, Anthony Joshua or whatever, because he was the mandatory. So, but no, that is a great recommendation. I would love to see Usyk take on Luis King Kong Ortiz. You know what I mean? And see how Usyk would handle that, a guy with that type of aggressive counterpunching style. You know what I mean? Kind of similar to his own. But Bellew was also a counterpuncher. He just wasn't a southpaw. So, we'll see how he handles guys big like that. Because, Ortiz is a very aggressive guy. He doesn't play in there. He's not like the typical Cuban boxer. He comes to fight. You know what I mean? He showed you that in the Wilder fight, you know. Um, but yeah, that is a great fight. I think would happen, and it can happen. You know, and it is a good step, and it is a good test for Usyk. You know what I mean? It's a really good test for Usyk. So again, shout out to Hawker Mustang for making that recommendation. You guys tell me what you think about Usyk versus Luis King Kong Ortiz. Please subscribe, and you guys been counterpunched. Peace.